Hi, Ajeen. Your culinary career started at 15. What motivated you to decide on a future in the culinary world?
At 15, during the summer, when I was 15, I was at Margaret's Hotel back home in Port Royal, Jamaica. And the intent really was to get in the pool. However, the chef saw me and he called me over and he said what I was doing on the property. And the only thing I could come up with was, I'm looking for a summer job. And he sent me in the kitchen, see what I could do. I get inside there, guys cooking away, and the whole excitement in the kitchen. It's just energy, just sort of just took me away, and then I started working the following day. And then from that day, I'm just inside cooking, and just over the years started to love it, and then honed my skills, and then from there on started to just move forward.
Okay. So you spent the earlier part of your career in Jamaica before moving to Barbados. Tell us what you were doing in Jamaica for 4 years before moving to Barbados.
4 years, the first two I was based in school, graduated closer to 18, 17 plus, and then take on full-time position. The last 2 years would have been, it would be about 3.5 years in Jamaica prior to Barbados. 6 months, working the cruise ship for 6 months. Thereafter I went on, came back to Jamaica and then started working with, they were Western planners in Mandeville, where we do weddings and so on. And then I got a gig to go to Barbados as a junior sous chef, which I take on just like that. And then I move over and then start working at Kingston Palace.
Okay. So how was the experience for you in Barbados compared to Jamaica?
Each country sort of have its own strength. Produce that they use in Barbados, certainly we use the same stuff back home. Jamaica for me really is more diverse with the ingredients that is being used. In Barbados it's more confined. You might just find only maybe 4 or 5 things in the island that is really pushed towards giving to tourists, opposed to Jamaica is a wider variety of items being used. It's different, but it's also the same sort of vibes, to be honest. There's a lot of focus on North American food in Barbados, and when in Jamaica there's a lot of focus on Caribbean food, jerk chicken, fries, chips, banana, yam, so on, and try to create it, start to create the dishes in a more contemporary form, and then present it to the guests. So for me, Jamaica is, both countries have their strength, and equally there's some weaknesses as well.
Okay, so how did that develop you as a chef?
Young, it's one, it opened doors, exposure, working with different teams, different chefs, different background and culture at the same time, and also meeting guests. I think the key development really is how the guests respond to food, and then that sort of put me into the avenue of starting researching food, better understand food, and importantly, start to motivate me as to what I want to do with food.
You've worked on cruise ships, events, weddings, restaurants. Which of these is your favorite environment to work in?
Each environment has its own strength, has its own weakness in a sense. For example, cruise ship, there's a lot of emphasis on bulk cooking, while restaurant there's emphasis on refined cooking and paying attention to details. Then again, there's restaurants and restaurants. For example, if I'm at the Rosewater Supper Club, there's a French restaurant. It's aluminium based, where food is being done to an order. Where there's maybe a Jamaican restaurant where food is done and then sit on a buffet and then served. So I think weddings and French restaurants would have been my favorite, because the attention to details, and it's able to create me and rounded me more towards a chef.
And what's your favorite event to cater for?
I would say weddings.
Weddings?
Yeah.
Which celebrity or VIP have you catered for and where?
Okay, well, there's no doubt Miss Universe Violet, well, that pretty much everyone probably knows that. Lennox Lewis as well. VIPs, well, this is where things become very tricky. Some events with VIPs, after this disclosure agreement that has to be signed, but I think if I can speak of stuff like the film festival, then for example, then Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, what's this girl name? She's in Grey's Anatomy. Most of the stars from the film festival, I think I can speak on those because those were open. But outside of that, I can't really give much details in more intimate events.
How does French Caribbean differ from traditional Caribbean food in your opinion?
French Caribbean, I think, was the only way I could sort of find a way to modernize Caribbean food and sort of give it this fine dine feel to it. Caribbean food on its own is more difficult to produce a fine dine, so I diverted towards French cooking. And for me, the idea was to make things more appealing, more textures, more flavors, more colors. So at the end of the day, it comes down to classic French to classic Caribbean, but just find a way to cut down the time of how we cook and produce. It's just really a French approach towards Caribbean cooking. I just wanted to find a way to produce Caribbean dishes in a more contemporary approach, fine dining, and the only way I could get that done is to put it across with French dishes. So a combination of maybe a French and a Caribbean ingredient to produce one dish, and then of course respect to flavor and textures as well. That's the only way I could pretty much bring across fine dining using Caribbean products.
Okay. What are the key elements of your French, Jamaican, Caribbean fusion for you that leads to the amazing results and demand for your services?
The idea that I could use spices, aromatics from the Caribbean, and then fuse them with classic French dishes. The idea that I could use Caribbean spices, herbs, aromatics into classic Caribbean dishes. For example, if I'm making a béarnaise and then use Caribbean-based ingredients and spices in a béarnaise, or if I'm making a liaison and then sort of use Caribbean-based ingredients to sort of to bring that sauce together for with a liaison and so on. I think what appeals to most persons is how I use take the classic French and then twist it to a Caribbean finish. I think most persons are amazed by the way I'm able to sort of make that transition, and I think that's the reason why there's so much of a demand.
You've won many awards. What has been your personal favorite up until the recent Gastronomy Award?
Jesus. What can I tell you the favorite? I don't know. I mean, every single award, every acknowledgement that I've received, it's a shot of confidence. It's just a testament that what I'm doing, I'm doing good work, and persons are recognizing those work. If I should say one is more favored than the other, no. But I'm saying that they all, in their own way, have opened new doors for me. In their own way, have made me more recognized, and in its own way, have increased the demand that persons have for me.
So you've won the 2014 International Gastronomy Award for Hotels and Restaurants. How important and special was that for you?
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, Europe for me is one of those key country that takes food serious, and to be recognized by a European organization for the work that I'm doing with Caribbean food. I mean, in its own right, I'm humbled.
Okay. What other doors have been opened as a result of your food and your reputation?
Yes, international events. Jesus, being flying from country to country and so on. I think that's one of the major success I've gotten from awards. Being invited to parties and starting out with some famous persons, and then have the opportunity to cooking for many celebrities as well, and hosting major events, and from politician dinner parties for Christmas to pretty much the who's who. So I think it certainly motivates me.
You recently came across the work of Bajan-born chef Hayward. How did you discover him, and what about him impresses you?
I think what I saw first was the way he was plating the dishes. It started to remind me a lot about myself when I was working with the Rosewater Supper Club. It's as if the same passion is there. The way he used the colors he used on his dishes, and the flavor, the way he sort of put it together, it reminded me a lot of me maybe 4 years ago when I was in the midst of doing fine dining. So because of that, I was just intrigued. I was amazed to see another black person taking such a passion in what they're doing. As a result, I sort of just reach out and then to look closer at the work that he was doing.
How important is it to raise the profile of Caribbean so that others can experience the food and flavors that are distinctly Caribbean?
Me personally, I think what I've noticed in the Americas and in Canada is where Caribbean food is concerned, I think this eagerness to make as much money you can from a jerk chicken or a piece or a stewed oxtail, I think the only way we can raise the profile is to sort of get out of that mentality, because most persons from the Caribbean, what they tend to do is open a shop quickly and then try to sell the cheapest possible dish. And I think that's taking the Caribbean food down the wrong road. And as a result, the French, the Italians, and the other fusion restaurants are doing far better and with most expensive dish and of course most contemporary and most fine dining approach where persons are appreciated. So I think the only way we can raise the profile is to start to get out of this mentality of this hurry cooking and start to, chefs start to come together, get some serious minds together and start to create, a fine dining Caribbean restaurants that persons go out and enjoy themselves and of course be in competition with the French and also the Italian cuisines.
You've recently attended a wine festival. What things do you like about wine, be it cooking or food pairing?
For me, wine is cooking. I love white wine to drink. I don't like red wine to drink for some strange reason. I don't know. But for me, wine is cooking. For example, if I'm making a bechamel béarnaise or some kind of velouté and so on, for me, wine is a key ingredient in sort of solidifying, putting that flavor, that firmness, that boldness that comes out of the sauces. So for me, I was invited to the festival, but it was about pairing wine and trying it with different cheeses and so on. But my purpose was to go there and then taste the wines and see how best I can use them for poaches and cooking.
So the Caribbean is a notably rum producing region. Are you also experimenting with using rum in your dishes?
Guadeloupe. When I was in Guadeloupe, I did on the spot, they just wanted a dessert, and it was all rum based. It was rum and cake based. When I started to create rum, and it was sort of a rum ball with nuts, and I just picked up some local cakes from the shop. And from then on, given the reception I've gotten, I've then started to work with rum tremendously. Yeah, mostly for desserts really. Whether I'm going to do a banana or stewed or some kind of fruits, or I'm going to do a crumble of some sort. I tend to use a lot of Caribbean rum because for some reason there's high demand for rums here.
Is it possible to raise the profile of rum and be able to promote it alongside food in a manner similar to the European culture?
I don't know. Rum is a bit strong, and pairing food is to complement a dish. But I think rum might just be too harsh on the palate if you're going to eat it with food.
Finally, how do you think you're inspiring the next generation of chefs? And are you involved in mentoring or teaching programs to share and pass on your